Hey guys, welcome to Thoughts Universe, where we teach the truth and show the guiding principles of the universe. I am Promise, and today we'll be talking about karma. Karma is one of the most misunderstood spiritual concepts ever. In fact, I'm convinced that most people have an overblown notion of what they think and expect karma to be or what it should look like. They believe if you are a good person, even if performative, and someone does something bad to you, probably buildings should fall on the person's head, truckloads on the person's head, or something harmful to whoever does bad to them. Or they believe if you do something bad, you should also receive it in the same way. But that isn't karma, and that isn't what karma is all about. So, what is karma? The word karma originated in ancient India language, Sanskrit, about 1,500 years before Christ's era, and literally means deed or action. It was seen as a ritual or a sacred practice in the Rig Veda to get and maintain wealth, material things, and abundance before evolving into a core ethical principle of cause and effect in major Eastern religions. Before the ancient India concept of karma and its evolution, many other much ancient societies had a concept of what we call karma today. They understood moral causation, cosmic balance, ancestral consequences, and the idea that all actions eventually returns to the doer. In ancient Egypt, while they did not use the Eastern term karma, their belief system shared the same core concepts of moral cause and effect. Their philosophy and principles centered on the goddess archetype, Ma'at, who represented truth, justice, harmony, balance, reciprocity, proprietary, and cosmic order. And this was at the center of a daily Egyptian life whose duty was to live in alignment with Ma'at. This meant maintaining harmony in your actions, treating others with respect, and ensuring your deeds aligned with cosmic truth. Ma'at was both the archetype goddess and a guiding principle of reciprocity. The idea that harmful or malicious action naturally disrupts your life balance energetically. The oldest substantial surviving proof of this incredible belief system can be found in the pyramid texts of the burial chamber of Unas, which dates between 2,375 years and thereabout before Christ's era. In ancient Mesopotamia, the civilizations of Sumer, the Akkadians, and Babylon, they believed that actions could bring about divine favor or punishment. They also believed that disorder always brought consequences and that individual and kings were accountable to cosmic and divine laws. And they believed that these consequences were from their gods rather than an impersonal karmic laws. Many individual African traditions were preserved orally rather than in writing, and this also contains ideas that resemble karmic consequences. Most traditions associated with the Igbos, Ordinani, the Yoruba spirituality, the Akan people, the Dogons, and other tribes in Africa had common themes of character determining destiny, ancestors witnessing human conduct, and harm done unjustly returns through an imbalance, likely energetic, and can cause an interference in your life. They also believe that actions affect descendants and the community at large. This is most likely not very identical with the Eastern karma, but nevertheless shares the idea that actions generate consequences, and even beyond the immediate environment. In ancient China, the early Chinese thoughts before the spread of Buddhism included concepts of moral reciprocity, harmony with the heavens, and consequences of violating natural order, as they believe that actions that violate harmony tends to create imbalance and suffering. Many Chinese folk traditions taught that good deeds bring beneficial outcomes and harmful deed brings misfortune. Again, this is not exactly karma like in the Eastern sense, but shares the same idea of the concept of karma, of actions and consequences. Ancient Greek had various concepts that resemble aspects of karma, and one of them with Nemesis. Nemesis embodied the principle that excessive pride or wrongdoing eventually brings about correction. Nemesis represented the balance of excess, arrogance, and injustice. They also developed ideas around fate, moral order, justice, retribution, and hubris. This is similar to the idea of karmic causation, although it was usually explained through fate and mostly portrayed in Greek theaters drama, where individuals are caught in a chain of consequences resulting from choices made by them or their ancestors. Ancient Persia, in the teachings of Zoroastrianism, believed that humans choose between truth and falsehood, actions have consequences, and their souls are judged according to their deeds. Again, this represents moral causation and have similarities to the India idea of karma. In Native America, various tribes thought about actions that affect harmony by either restoring or disturbing it, humans being accountable to nature and spirit, and consequences of actions affecting even future generations. Some of these tribes actually express this through the ideas of actions having consequences that affect even up to the seventh generation. Many Aboriginal Australian tradition teaches that actions affect one's relationship with the land, with the ancestors, and dreaming. That disharmony produces consequences, and that the spiritual law governs life. This idea focused on maintaining sacred balance through reincarnational karma. Now we can see that among indigenous tribal people, cultures, and tradition worldwide, they all held similar beliefs of cause and effect. And this is karma. Now, be it a moral causation karma or karmic balance, a sacred, spiritual, and cosmic karma or karmic balancing, or a reincarnational or ancestral karma. Majority of ancient spiritualities, cultures, and tradition agree on the concepts of fafoing, effing out and finding out, that is, cause and effect, actions having consequences, and even laying down on the bed you laid. This resonates and can be similarly equated to the physics general principle of causation, whose groundwork was laid by one of the earliest thinker and philosopher, Aristotle. This was about 384 years thereabouts before Christ's era. This also shows itself in Isaac Newton's third law of motion, which was published in mid-1660s and was further propounded on by Simon Pear and eventually Albert Einstein in modern science. Most notable to mention is also David Hume and Immanuel Kant, who happen to be two of the most influential philosophers in the 18th centuries, respectively of Scottish and German origin, whose debate fundamentally changed and shaped modern philosophy, epistemology, and its likes. Now, all of this karmic balancing, and that is the moral causation karma, the spiritual and cosmic sacred karma, as well as the ancestral and reincarnational karma, all have a part to play at different levels of consciousness and understanding of these karmic balances. But at its core, they are all three parts of a whole, not two. From ancient shamans and spiritualists to grand philosophers, mathematicians, and even physicists across various civilizations and thousands of years, they have been able to identify various aspects of karma within the illusion of separation from the whole. A higher consciousness and a higher perspective experience helps you to see the totality and the entirety of the energetic cause and effects principle, karma. But first, let's understand karma. Karma, at its core, is a cosmic or spiritual energetic system of justice and balance, and reminds us that our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, and our intentions have a ripple effect that shapes our reality and our lives. Karma comes up as a result of unresolved and unbalanced situation in which the universe itself uses to correct its imbalance. Causes and effects have happened for thousands of years and can even be seen in nature and the natural realm itself. Our karma is mostly shaped by our responses to situations and events within and beyond our control. Everything is an output of what you have done or what you are not doing. And in rare situations, our karma are inherited. That is to say, sometimes they are not the result of your own personal actions. It could be something your great grandfather, your ancestor, someone in your bloodline, or even your immediate parents participated in. It mostly goes through the energetic system of the bloodline. So yeah, sometimes what you are going through are not results of your own actions. Your karma is rooted in the intention and lies in the essence of what you do. Basically, what you sow, you reap. So karma is not necessarily bad. It just reflects whatever energy you put out, and this can happen physically, spiritually, in subtle ways, loud, destructive, chaotic, lovingly, happily, and whichever state it manifests itself in. As karma does not manifest itself in the way of your expectations. Karma manifests itself in the experience of the vibration and pattern you generate by the way you think, feel, the things you do, and even why you do them. As your energy influences your consciousness, your emotional pattern, and your future experiences. Understanding that it's all energy, spirits, transforming and transmitting consciously or unconsciously in a conscious manner, a form of consciousness experiencing itself. We understand that consciousness continually encounters the consequences of its own patterns until it becomes aware of them and transforms them. As a soul, spirit, and energy, experiencing this realm from a higher dimension and understanding things from a higher consciousness, wholeness, and the interconnectedness of all things. We can attribute things of the lower dimension, the 3D, the illusion of separation, and the material to lower consciousness also experiencing itself. This is not to segregate, divide, or used as a form of superiority, but it is what it is, the truth, as our reality is based on how aware and how conscious we are. But regardless of all, the totality of what karma truly is affects us all and affects all of us and doesn't take into consideration your ignorance, affecting us from our energetic and astral body to the material and from the spiritual to the physical until you remember and take charge of who we are. Your remembrance makes you realize the fact that you are a highly conscious being having a human experience. Don't forget higher consciousness, lower consciousness. It's all consciousness. Chilling and having an experience based on you because you are not just one unconscious and powerless being. You are so much more. Hence, the indoctrination and mainly streamlined information made available to you. Like I said, being aware or not, the universal cosmic energetic justice system of balance affects you at all levels of consciousness and also extends into your ancestral and collective level as a whole. Understanding that everything is energy and that this energy is transformed, transferred, or transmuted by your thoughts, feelings, intentions, and actions, we realize that this energy influences your consciousness regardless of your ignorance or awareness of it. And so it influences your emotional patterns and even your future experiences. You can see that karma first begins on a conscious level, noticing and noting how conscious you are. And when we talk about how conscious you are, we are talking about the collective unconscious level psychologically, which can be accessed and harnessed on a higher consciousness level. On the high level of consciousness, we can call this the universal cosmic spiritual karmic balance, of which every other offshoot of karmic balancing stems from. Let's not forget, everything begins in the spiritual before the physical manifestation. For physical creation to take place, your thoughts, emotions, intentions, and actions must align, and this also creates your karma. So whatever you put out there energetically, you get it back when due and in the exact way you should. Most times, your karma manifests itself in the conscious space most likely your subconscious, but due to your inability to tune in, you might not see or understand whatever is going on until it manifests itself physically. So let's talk about karma and how it balances and how it affects you. And for that, we begin with the moral causation karmic balance. Now, morals are personal and subjective, and our actions and choices guided by personal conscience, your belief system, literally whatever you think is good or bad based on you. Now, if we understand morals as personal, then we can as well understand agency. What affects you and what doesn't affect you, what is yours and what is within your agency. And then we can understand that your karma stems from your moral agency. Whatever you believe is good or bad is based on your beliefs and moral, but you must as well understand agency and know that accountability must be taken. For example, you can decide to cut off a finger and I try to dissuade you maybe once or twice. And if I like you a bit much more, I can try to dissuade you a bit more. But at the end of the day, you are your own sovereign person, your own human, and hold your own parameters and agency. And of course, you will face the consequences of such actions. So don't expect me to go out of my way to do anything that you could have done by yourself when and if you had your complete fingers, hands, or whatever, or you decide to slap someone and go physical with me, and unlike those who have given their power away or who decide to turn the other cheek, I would not be doing that. I am first your karma before anything. Karma varies according to agency. When you do things that affect others with bad intentions or good intention, when you do a good or bad thing, like I said, it's just based on agency, what concerns you and what affects and concerns others. As in a collective where collective decisions are made and a collective you are a part of, you cannot go against the grain based on your personal beliefs and conscience, as the collective already has a guiding principles that allows them deals within a community or a collective space. We also have ancestral, generational, or reincarnational karma or karmic balancing, as this is not separate from you or the whole of consciousness. In fact, it is a major determinant of your whole karmic balance, as already you are energetically tethered to your ancestors, your ancestry, and your bloodline from birth, and their actions, emotions, intentions, and thoughts from a previous lifetime or cycle affects the generation as a generational and ancestral karma, which in turn affects a person's life. Because of course you are your ancestors and from the same bloodline. Even the greatest story, that is the Bible, talks about children being punished for the sins of their parents, and also talks about the sins of the fathers being visited on the children and even onto their generation. Another place in the Bible talks about the kids to the third and fourth generation paying for choices they did not personally make due to their ancestors' bloodline choices. Reincarnational karma stems from the whole and the totality of karma across the selves on the lower and higher consciousness. This is mostly realized when you can see beyond the veil and the illusion of separation. Collective karmic balance refers to the karmic system of cosmic energetic justice of a people, a collective and a group, and their karma is based on their actions and choices, emotions and their thoughts, as well as that of their ancestors and generations as a collective. So a people, a tribe, a group karma is based on them and their consciousness as well. I believe our karma as humans and as a collective seems to be us forgetting who we are and having this experience within the veil and the illusion of separation until we remember who we truly are, and collectively as well. As in the earlier times, we remembered collectively and acted as one until we got corrupted and fell from grace and power and into this dense realm. Understanding karma now from a higher and a wholesome perspective, you get to understand that before any physical manifestation of karma, there has already been the universal cosmic or spiritual manifestation. And because this is spiritual, psychological, and beyond the physical, most people tend to dismiss it, do not see it as karma or something worth looking at. Yet, this plays a vital role and majorly shape your life experiences from the personal, the ancestral, and the collective, and manifest itself physically. And sometimes it could manifest itself as trauma, illness, anxiety, lack of peace, and unregulated nervous system, prickly conscience, and so on. But these are most times dismissed on a lower consciousness, most notably numbed down, set aside, and pushed to the back. After all, they are just feelings. Feelings that shape your inner world and your outer world. So yes, karma happens in the subtle, the energetical, the unseen, the spiritual, and metamorphose into the physical. Let me use this as an example. You could do something to someone that hurts them, which is not physical, and go about your life and day as usual, expecting some performative karma. But when the karma comes, it can be that the hurt the person feels, you feel double, triple, and are in a much worse situation than when your actions caused the other person so much hurt and pain. The universe, spiritual or cosmic justice is karma. And this could also happen in a performative way. Could be a negative or positive change in fortune, individually or collectively, a family good and successful time, a stranger repaying a favor you did for someone else, trailers or trucks falling down on the head of people that wrong you, things going bad for them, they losing something they like, the 10th plague on the oppressors, and so much more. Karma is also a teacher and teaches us agency and accountability. That is cause and effect. The effect is as a result of accountability taken. The thing is, most of you are not accountable to yourself. So how then do you hold others accountable? How then do you rightfully demand justice, be it individually, in a group, or at a collective level? Because when you do, karma is paid back in its full effect. I am in a country where we forgive terrorists, or rather, the system forgive terrorists. That's most likely an offshoot of an average individual Nigerian who would rather pray and pass justice to God for something the perpetrator should be made to pay for. How about you turn the other cheek when you get slapped? Well, I do not do that because I will slap you. Your ears would so resound and you probably go deaf. So yes, karma is a teacher because the cause of something, a situation, or a relationship leads to an effect. And in between that cause and effect lies the lessons to be learned. And lessons are not necessarily bad, especially when you learn what that situation or whatever is trying to teach you. And it is in how conscious and aware you are that the lessons are perceived and learned. To round this up, karma is spiritual and cosmic justice, and surely comes to collect in whatever form when due on the wheel of time, and not when we like. If you enjoyed today's topic, like, share, and subscribe to get more teachings of the universe. I also have my book here, Spirit Lead, A Guide to Raise Your Consciousness. It is the book that helped me on the spiritual journey and my path of feeling, healing, integrating, and being. And I know it would also help you on your journey.